Well, everyone, welcome. Welcome to our weekly Lunch and Learn. I'm so glad to be with everyone. I'm Edmund DeVeaux. I'm the president of the New Jersey CannaBusiness Association. I want to welcome everyone to our Lunch and Learn, especially our guests. So I do want to thank our guests today, but before I let them introduce themselves, I do want to thank our sponsors. I'd like to thank Burton, Trent Public Affairs, Curaleaf, Inglesino, Webster, Wyciskala and Taylor Law Firm, Weeds Direct, Puffin Entrepreneurs and Investors, Argus 365, Eaze, the UFCW and Hugh Giordano, and Garden State Greenhouse. So without further ado, Devon, welcome to Lunch and Learn, and please say your names correctly. I was just joking, but I do want to thank you for joining us in today's Lunch and Learn. And so let's get started. Tell me who you are and tell us a little bit about Garden State Greenhouse and what your agency does.
Sure, sounds great. And Edmund, I'm Devon Ludwig. And I just wanted to first say thank you to you and to your team, and obviously to everybody who's joining today. We're obviously super excited to be here and talk a little bit about Garden State Greenhouse, so thank you for having us. I am actually the client service lead here at Garden State Greenhouse, and outside of being the primary point of contact, I really serve as the liaison to our clients and their business, and to our creative team and my core partners, Evan being one of them, here at the agency. And so, my job is to really ensure that our clients are being heard, that their business needs are being realized, and that when we execute work, we're really coming up with meaningful solutions to address their needs. And so with that, I'll pass it over to Evan to introduce himself.
All right. Hi, guys. I'm Evan Daly. I'm the creative director or art lead at Garden State Greenhouse. About 20 plus years advertising experience. And, I work with Devon and our other partners primarily with communication strategies for our clients. And then my day-to-day is mostly the creative development, everything from websites and apps to print projects for, dispensary sales materials, packaging, logos. It's a wide range of projects here at the agency.
Yeah, and Garden State Greenhouse is really a full service creative marketing agency, and we focus solely in the cannabis industry. So I guess the cat's out of the bag a little bit. We're not a greenhouse. We don't manufacture greenhouses. We're not a grow facility. We really are a full service creative agency. And we know that this industry, there really is a full ecosystem that contributes to it. And it doesn't matter, where you fit into that ecosystem. If you are a law firm or a security firm, if you're a dispensary, if you are a grow facility, or if you are a supplier of equipment or accessories, or if you are producing cannabis brands or products, every business that fits within this ecosystem can benefit from clear communications and marketing that services and speaks specifically to their customers or their audience. And it really doesn't matter either where you are in the life cycle of your business. If you are just starting out and filling out an application in the state of New Jersey and need to start to establish some online presence, or as Evan mentioned, if you are doing logo and branding development, if you're doing packaging design, if you need a CRM program or a website, if you need a presentation to talk to investors, there really is a long list, dispensaries, merchandise, bud tender training, where we can really come in and help to support where you are in your business and what your needs are.
Thank you for that information. That's really important. One of the topics that I've been dealing with, heading up the state's Cannabis Chamber of Commerce, as you've heard me say, we talk about ancillary businesses and the importance of ancillary businesses. And one of them, if I were to use the broad brush, cannabis media, whether it's being a reporter, a journalist in this space, and from your perspective, somebody that's in marketing. This is a huge, I think, will be a huge part of this industry. So if you could share some of your thoughts about where you've been and where you think the industry is going, and the importance of cannabis media as this ancillary business and potential future job for those college students that are journalism majors or marketing majors.
Sure, I'll take that. Yeah, the trends in the industry are very interesting. And as you mentioned, this just content creation is happening all around us in the cannabis industry and every other industry around us. What's interesting is that, it's a state by state game right now in the cannabis industry. You have a very established market like California, right? Where there's tons of options. Each brand has to learn how to speak to their audience in a very specific way. They can't be everything to everybody. New Jersey's totally different, right? It's a blank slate right now. But we're still going to have to watch, what they were doing in California, what they were doing in Colorado, where they have to, listen to their audience, look to see what's out there, and then tailor their messages accordingly. Working with an agency can help you do that, to define your brand story or whatever your service, if you're a bank or a security firm, we can help you evolve that story and get it out into the world in the appropriate channels. And as you mentioned, Ed, those media people, those new kids coming up, it's kind of like endless right now as far as the possibilities, right? You have a phone, you have a computer, and you can be creating content and working for these brands and putting things out in the world in real time. And it's really amazing, and it's exciting. It's really exciting for us as well, like being in the agency and then working with these type of people to build that content together and push it out to the world.
Great. So you have backgrounds in healthcare, which is very important, because we're getting ready to actually get deeper, pardon the pun, deeper in the weeds of regulation as it pertains to packaging and messaging. So what are your thoughts about your background in healthcare and how it lends itself to the potential regulated future of how you actually do cannabis media?
Yeah, and as Devon mentioned, we do have about 2 decades of experience coming from the healthcare and pharma industry. And you're right, Ed. I mean, when you look at what FDA regulations are for promotional medications out there, it is a really strict environment. And so we certainly saw a natural shift in moving into the cannabis space because of having that kind of background and being able to still create really beautiful and meaningful stories and materials, but doing it within the guardrails of FDA regulations. And so when you look at cannabis and all of the restrictions, and the variations, because what you can do in Massachusetts and how you can communicate about your brand and the kind of legal language that you need to use on your packaging is very different than what can be done in California or Maryland or Michigan. And so, we certainly take a lot of pride in just being very well aware of what those regulations are and what the differences are from a state to state basis. And it's really our responsibility, because as we create our materials, we need to ensure that they are compliant. And so we would never want to put forth anything, in front of our clients that we didn't feel would even get through any sort of compliant review. So that's really on us to make sure that we are up to speed, and the fact that it changes so quickly. So it's like a moving target, and we need to ensure that we are well aware of that. the other thing that, based on the experience coming from healthcare, is that we really have the ability to tailor our communications and use like marketing segmentation in order to define how we want to best speak to various audiences. So that could be any consumer who's coming in, to a dispensary. It could be a healthcare provider who's starting to recommend cannabis. Or it could just be, patients or various different customer audiences out there who want to learn more about how, cannabis can help. And I think the one thing too that we've learned is that, it's not a sea of sameness. Like, people are out there looking for different things. And while one person may walk in looking for, a high THC strain, there are a lot of people out there who are more focused on that health and wellness aspect and who are really just looking to feel better and may want to help with things like chronic pain or insomnia or anxiety. So it's just really important to be mindful of everyone that you're speaking to.
That's great information, and thank you for that. In fact, it brings me, brought to my mind as we look at people entering the industry. We talk about, when should you have a lobbyist? When should you have an attorney? When should you be seeking accounting help? Your advertising, your marketing. When in the process should someone reach out to Garden State Greenhouse? When should they tap you for your expertise?
Well, we could say right from the beginning, we can help small growing businesses, figure out their strategy in the marketplace by looking at, who are the competitors out there? Where am I going to fit in to this, group? So it's not a sea of sameness. So you stand out. So we can help with the strategy. An agency can help with, the visuals. Okay, you're ready to develop a logo and packaging, and you're going to move on from there. We can help when you're further along and you're building a dispensary and you need a sales team, and it's really the journey is a long one for these companies, and an agency can kind of plug in anywhere along and hopefully scale their services to what you need at the time. It could just be a couple of phone calls to help you get in a PowerPoint deck, to get you on your way. Or it could be some, a longer workshop or a full branding exercise. It really is just going to depend what you need at the time.
So that's great information as well. Again, because a lot of our members are trying to figure things out. They're entering industry period for the first time, never mind cannabis. So everyone's got to start somewhere. As you said, you're not a greenhouse, but how did Garden State Greenhouse get started, and how did you elect the name?
Sure. Garden State Greenhouse, as an agency, started about 3 years ago. We were, as we mentioned, we have the background in pharma. We were part of a healthcare marketing agency, a successful healthcare marketing agency based in Newark, New Jersey. And that's where the Garden State Greenhouse kind of spun off. So when we broke off the group, we're like, oh, it's the Garden State. We're growing ideas, Garden State Greenhouse. And here we are today, where, we still have a very tight relationship with our other agency, but our team and our group is specifically focused in on the cannabis industry now.
So the idea was organic.
Organic, growing ideas, growing brands.
Keep my day job. Yeah. So as you shared earlier, the entire industry is in this evolutionary state. Individual businesses are in an evolutionary state, and here it is now. You could be this benefit to a company anywhere throughout the process, anywhere throughout this evolutionary process. Mm-hmm. What do you consider like the end product? If you were to work with someone, they're going through this, they're doing applications. It may take more than one application to be approved. What do you see as your end goal? What is your end product when you work with someone?
Again, that would vary on the project, right? But we found, this sounds a little silly, but we found there really is no end to it. As your company grows, your agency grows along with you, and the responsibilities and roles and asks kind of continuously change. It could be a packaging project where, okay, it's printed, it's on the shelves, but is it really done? Because is there going to be another SKU that comes out next month? Do you need some marketing materials that go along with that? It's kind of it's just a relationship between, a company or a service and the agency that's always evolving. I don't ever see an end to it, frankly. It's always going to keep going.
We're hoping it's just the beginning, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I echo that, Evan. And it's, really about what the business needs are for the clients and who we're working with, because of course, as they want to continue to grow and to continue engaging with even their current, customers, or even branching out and expanding beyond that. So, we always want to try to optimize and think about how we can do things even better and provide those new and different services to the clients.
So what level of detail do you get into with your clients? Look, some people, you mentioned PowerPoints and how to do a proper presentation. What happens when somebody is actually at the point of, I'm ready for either packaging or I'm ready to go to the public, right? Most of the times we think of the PowerPoint presentation as kind of that internal pitch that we give to either a mayor or a council or a zoning or a planning board. Hint, hint, hint. How much detail? Is it just PowerPoints, or do you actually get into choice of fabrics, colors? What should somebody appear to be as they do presentations or greater?
Yeah, Ed, it is really, it gets really in the weeds, as we like to say, right? We'll handle everything, from picking that appropriate color for your brand to designing it with pencil and paper and then bringing it onto the computer and then bringing it out to the web. We do social media work, which is a whole other arm of media communication. We've worked on one of the biggest projects that we've just we didn't complete it. It's still going, right? We just launched the Jerry Garcia brand of cannabis, right? It's available in California, it's in Massachusetts, it's in Maryland. And that was like a dream project for an agency because we were there at the very spark of the idea. We worked with the Garcia family to create the logo, the packaging, the websites, the sales materials, every little aspect of the brand. And it kept growing and growing and growing. And down to, you mentioned the fabrics, we developed a project called Bertha. It was an Airstream. We took an Airstream trailer and converted the inside to like a mini dispensary space. And we wrapped it with the graphics of the brand. But we actually were literally picking the fabric that covered the seats, and the rug to lay down, all to just bring like the essence of the brand, pulling it through. Like Jerry Garcia was a very unique guy. A lot of people know him for his music, but he was also into art and the environment. And we had to absorb all those details and bring it into everything that we did for them. So it was a great ride. And like I said, it's still going. I mean, every day there's a new thing that pops up to help the brand out and, bring the next thing onto the shelf.
That's very cool. Were you there for the ties? I remember when the Jerry Garcia tie was introduced. So that's almost 10 years ago.
They were inspirational, the ties. But yeah, I mean, Jerry had his own artwork, his own individual artwork that we actually worked into the design of the packaging. When you open up the flower box, inside is some of his actual doodles that he would do like on his little ink pad. So it was such a cool way to integrate who this guy was into the brand and, create these authentic brands. I mean, that's what we were all about.
Wow. So I saw in the chat, some people are throwing out Belushi. Are you on that project, or are you vying for it?
No, I think they have their own agency, the Belushi project.
Yes. Right, you can't win them all. Right?
I know. They're doing a good job, though. They're doing a great job.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. That's great. So, look, again, I just want to thank you all for sharing what you're sharing. In the interest of time, and again, I want people to have an opportunity to get to the CRC meeting and tee up and get ready to hear the 2019 license awards. Please, what else would you like people to know? Again, fledgling business to mature business. What is it that Garden State Greenhouse says to the beginner as well as the expert?
Yeah, and I think that as people sort of go off and start to think about where they are, what their needs really look like, if there's that spark, or you have this question, if you're not quite sure where to go next, we are more than happy, to jump on a call and have a meeting and just talk about really where you feel like you are in your journey and how we could potentially provide some ideas on how to take that to the next level. So, even if you are just starting out, or if you are a pretty well-entrenched business, but maybe looking for a refresh or new ideas, we're certainly, here to help, anyone start to kind of come up with those and start to, plan out where you can go from here. And, as we were saying in the beginning, there are such a wide variety of services that we offer. We have a client right now who is engaged in a clinical trial with cannabis. And so not only did we help build all of the recruiting material to help enroll patients into the study, once that study is complete and we have that data and those findings, we will then go off and start to build educational materials for healthcare providers and patients to really talk about how cannabis can be helpful for chronic pain. So, there is just, between that and like all of the in-dispensary work that we do for like Liberty dispensaries, if that's a familiar name, but just a lot of work and experience that we have out there. So we would love to, talk to, people and see how else we could be of support. We're really excited to see everything grow within the New Jersey space. So, yes.
That's excellent. Evan, Devon, I am so pleased that you joined us. I'm proud to have you as members of the New Jersey CannaBusiness Association. I want to thank, once again, our sponsors, Burton, Trent Public Affairs, Curaleaf, Inglesino, Webster, Wyciskala and Taylor, Weeds Direct, Puffin, Entrepreneurs and Investors, Argus 365 Security, Eaze, the UFCW, Hugh Giordano, and Garden State Greenhouse. You guys are fantastic. And last but not least, I want to thank Mediterra in Princeton, New Jersey. Love these guys. Again, I want to thank Raul Momo, his brothers. I want to thank Jeff, the manager. We go way back. Again, I have been blessed to not only meet great restaurants, but great people. And so I count Garden State Greenhouse in that number now. So before we go, I do see the instruments. You got to share your musical background.
Oh, music is just another form of self-expression, right? So I just love to play guitar, and me and my girls Friday nights like to jam out in the basement. We're never playing out, but we're always playing here.
Devon, I see the guitar.
I know, but Evan's such a show off. So my sad single guitar back here doesn't really do much, but I give my husband the credit. He's the musician in the family.
Excellent.
So.
Well, again, I want to thank you all very much for your time. I want to thank everyone that joined us today. Please visit the website, NewJerseyCannaBusiness.com. Check out a membership. Your membership helps make meetings like this possible. Head to the CRC meeting. It's virtual. Check out the information there. We do want to actually give kudos to the CRC. We know it's been hard. You guys had to pick up pieces from 2 years ago, bring it over to an organization that you're just forming, So look, we get the challenges. As the CannaBusiness Association, we want to be supportive, not want to be, we will continue to be supportive of the Cannabis Regulatory Commission. Evan, Devon, thanks again for joining us. Thank you all. And hopefully everyone will continue to chat in the networking feature or network in the chat feature. And we'll see you again next Friday. Oh, I'll be at MJ Biz, by the way, for a day or two in Las Vegas. Yes, they actually cajoled me into going. So I will be there. Thank you all very much.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.